Blessings, everyone, and welcome to the Tanya Love Show. I'm so grateful that you took time to join us today live. And I just want to remind anybody that's tuning in today that if you want to log in and just put your nickname or your name right there on the live chat, you can ask questions and connect with us and ask Amnon things if you want to have him nudge me to talk about anything. And then if you want to call in, the number is 919-518-9773. So you can call in on the phone, or you can call into Computer's 2K Voice if you want to use your Skype to call in. So just a little reminder on that. I welcome all of you that are already on the chat live, and I just want to invite you to all write in any questions or any comments that you have pertaining to what we're talking about, or even just like a question that's coming to you in your life that you'd like some insight on. Just shoot it. Like, let's let it roll today and just feel like this conversation is open for you, which will be kind of fun to just see where it flows. But what I'm feeling led to talk about today is connected to the last week of my life. I've just been watching the energies like I always do, and that kind of helps me know what to talk about and what we're ready to discuss and bring to awareness. And the other night in our Sacred Soul Sister Circle, there was an amazing energetic presence of Archangel Ariel with us. And the two cards that I drew before all the women showed up were from my Goddess deck, and I'll read them to you today in a little while. But one of them was Freya, and the other one was Mary Magdalene. And when I put the cards together, I very quickly saw the energetic pattern of the yin and the yang of the angelic beings that are in this circle with me. All these women, as we did a past life regression the other night, we discovered that many of them were from the star system of Orion, as well as the angelic realms, which I already knew that, but it was cool for them to do the regression, to start to see that themselves. Many of them I've already had meetings with in dream time where I'm listening, and it's kind of like very Star Wars, where there's this galactic meeting that takes place, and I'm often there in my dream state connecting with Arcturians. I'm connecting with High Council of Orion and the angelic beings. And it was cool because when we're having our meeting, all the women have a chance to share and just say what they're going through and what's challenging them in their life, and what's also something that they're ready to embody, something they're dreaming about, and they're ready to really manifest it, whatever that may be. And there was a common theme around the circle of the card Freya. She is the goddess, like a Celtic goddess, that is about standing up and being in your power, being bold, being daring, taking leaps of faith. And in the circle, the entire circle, all these women had some major thing going on in their world that it was time to take a leap of faith. It was time to cut the cords of what wasn't working and take the leap off the cliff and learn to fly on your way down. And it was interesting because some of the girls, one of them actually confessed out loud that she knew she felt it was time for her to leave a marriage that was not working. And she was afraid to even say it. But once she said it, I helped remind her that this was a sacred circle. We can share, we can speak our truth, we can say what we're feeling, and what we choose to do is up to us always. And energies can shift. We may feel like that's where we are today, and then we get greater insight to something, and our energy shifts, our decisions can change. But to come into that space where being truthful and honest is the main highlight for tonight's show, is just really having integrity with your life and being bold and daring to be true to yourself and to really honor what your soul is trying to tell you. And when we were going around the circle, several of us had been in situations, like I was in a marriage for 20 years that I knew was never in alignment. It never felt right. It never felt honoring. There was times that there was good times and not so good times, but in essence, it just never felt like where I was really meant to be, like where my soul was going to be most honored. And I stayed there for quite a while out of fear and just, what do I do? Who am I without this? And so I have so much compassion to every one of you that are struggling in some way to let go and detach from something that you know is no longer really serving you. maybe something that you know has never served you, but it's where you've been for a while because you're afraid to let go of it, to move forward. And the point of the discussion tonight is to talk about why it's so important to honor your soul, why it's so important to listen to the calling of the soul, because big picture, you are a soul. And this is what, as we did a past life regression the other evening, the women could tune in and see with the intention of going back to their soul essence before they incarnated into a human form. And who were they? Where did they come from? What is their soul mission? What's the purpose of them coming into this form at this time? Why did they choose this particular family or this relationship they're in? What are these energies that they're needing to clear from past life karma? Like, they could have things that are repeating cycles and patterns that keep happening because it's an energy they need to clear, a pattern. And so all these things can be tuned into when we do a regression, or as we go into a meditation, we can ask our guides to bring us clarity and wisdom on these same questions. When we work with an intuitive healer that we trust to tune in and listen, the reason an intuitive healer like myself can be helpful for this work is if the person is so unconscious in their own movie that they need someone to shine the light on things that they're not even seeing. And they may know them, like every woman in the circle knew things that they needed to shift. They knew things that their soul was not liking, but are they ready to see it? Are they ready to actually look at the truth and to shift that? And so for someone some of them, they may be really bold and daring and ready for the clearing and ready for the awareness. And so they'll shift very quickly. But for some, they may be in an unconscious place where they suppress the energy, they suppress the emotions, and they don't really look at the truth. And that can get them in this feeling what we call stuck, where we feel we're stuck. And then we can start feeling depressed. And we start to manifest these energies that are really not comfortable. And the point of today is to realize, I was talking to Amnon before the show, that I've realized that there is no real wrong path or right path. All the energy is guiding us to alignment. So if we think of it that way, he was saying it's kind of like if you're on the road and you're going somewhere, like in essence, you could go on the side streets and you could get lost for a while, but if you want to head to your destination, eventually you need to get back on the path. So if we think of, if we're in Vancouver and we're heading to Seattle, the straight shoot for Seattle is to jump on I-5 and you're going to hit the freeway and just head north and you'll get to Seattle. But in life, sometimes a soul will go, hey, let's take the straight shoot. Let's go that way. Let's stick to the path of alignment. But sometimes we can get distracted. We may be afraid to go further. Ooh, what's in Seattle? I don't know. Maybe I'm not ready to go. And so we'll stay stuck. We'll just sit on the side of the freeway in fear. Sometimes we'll be curious about other things, even though our soul says, go this way. Our ego will say, no, I want power. I want control. I want attention. I want lots of money, fame. Who knows? Whatever the things are that distract us to go away from our true self. And then we go out there and eventually we get the energy that comes around that causes suffering. We learn our lessons, and the suffering in essence is also a part of the path. It teaches us and it guides us to come right back into alignment. And so if we really look at it from a soul level, there's not really any good or bad. It's just experience, and all the experience is helping to guide us to choose alignment. Now, at a soul level, as far as evolution is concerned, if we would like the more gentle journey with evolution and we want to really fulfill the tasks that we each came here to fulfill, then the path that we should go with would be the aligned path. So today I was in my yoga teacher training and we were talking about all this and how the 8 limbs of yoga are these it's like an ethical code system of how to live your life so that you embody this state of nirvana or samadhi, and you're in this state of bliss. And so as we're learning about meditation and coming to this place of being very present, honoring stillness so that we can listen and connect with our guides and remember our mission is so vital to that alignment. And so for souls that end up getting lost and maybe they go into a partying stage of their life and they're partying and they're abusing their bodies and they're not really honoring what they're here to do. And so they suffer with depression and they don't feel confident. They struggle with self-esteem. That's in essence still a beautiful part of their journey, because that energy of suffering is going to push on them and push on them until they kind of crack and they come back to seeking that aligned path. What I tell my students is, if you want to save time, if you're like me, I like evolution, I like to move swiftly, I like to stick to my soul mission, because I feel joy, I feel bliss, I feel abundance, I feel peace and harmony, and all those good energies are what you will find in the small, narrow space of alignment. And so if you want to save time, I kind of joke with my students and say, just stick to the path. If you know that meditation's serving you, and you know that stillness is helping you, you know that yoga makes your body feel better, you know when you eat green juice and vegetables and healthy organic foods, you thrive, you feel more energy, then if you keep doing that, you're going to just thrive. You're going to keep progressing and doing better and better. Last night, one of the girls mentioned something about why she feels she struggles with her body image, and that she feels that part of her, it's like a self-sabotage thing she does, where she'll be doing really great, and then she'll sabotage herself, and she'll eat a bunch of crappy foods or go out and drink and make herself feel bad, and it kind of sabotages her forward movement. So from a soul level, at some level, she's still not quite comfortable coming into her power. So she'll move and progress to a certain point and then sabotage to keep herself held back, because she's actually, in essence, afraid of her own power. So if we look into that in our own lives, our own behavior, we can see that in truth, the biggest thing that there is to fear is our fear itself. The fear of whatever is out there that we have is what keeps us stuck, and it causes us to sabotage. Most of us are not really afraid of, I think at the deepest level, some think they're just afraid of failure, but I think what deeper is in them that is causing fear is a fear of their power, a fear of stepping in and fully being accountable and being powerful and having the capabilities to see your mission through. I think that terrifies some people. It really does, because they know they cannot play victim. They cannot, let someone else take the heat. It's going to all be on their shoulders. And so when we really look at this, these paths that we go away and we kind of distract ourselves, like, oh, I'm going to Seattle, but I think I'm going to take a little side shot over here to the east for a while. That's fine. You're still learning, you're growing. But in essence, if your destination is in Seattle, energetically, this is just metaphorically, we want to get back on that freeway, and we want to shoot down the freeway and have the presence and awareness of what our mission is. And that is so vital for our health and our happiness at a soul level. And the reason I was talking about that with the women last night is that the ones that are knowing they're not somewhere that they know their soul's really meant to be, they are suffering in some level. They're having struggle, they're having insecurity, fear, and their sense of self-worth, their body image, all of it is affected, because their soul keeps saying, let's go, this is not for us, we need to go that way. And their ego says, no, we don't know what's going to happen over there. We don't know what we'll lose if we leave. What will we lose? What will we be? Who will we be? Like, what will people think of us? And these things keep us very stuck where we are. And at a soul level, it isn't really serving us. And even if the ego stays in, say, a marriage like I did for 20 years, it's not a good or bad thing. It maybe wasn't the most fun thing for me, but big picture, I'm still getting the work done. The angels, my guides, they're still pushing on me. Come on, girl, let's go, let's go. And so really, if you want to just save time, just stick to the path of alignment and honor the calling of the soul. Because as you honor that, it's going to serve you and it's going to serve everyone in your life, because you're living in that inspiration, you're living in that space of truth. And from my experience, and I've talked to the girls about this, I haven't experienced where, I know that something's not right for me and I want to know what to do next. And then the angels deliver me this big business plan. It's like a blueprint that shows me everything that's going to happen. That's never happened. But what they always do is they help me see what's no longer serving me. They give me the courage to make changes, and they show me the next step. And so today, it's kind of a balance of our conversation of honoring the soul's calling and the power and the gift of stillness.